Hello, Gemini. Welcome to Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If Gemini is your sun, moon, or rising sign, this is your tarot card reading. Remember to hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. If there is anything you would like me to pray over, or meditate upon, or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Gemini, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. So, we've got a Seven of Swords to start us off with. This is the card of criticism. This is the card of perhaps even a self-criticism, okay? I feel like this is a card that's sort of referencing your internal dialogue right now. The way that you talk to yourself, okay? I believe you're somebody with a high intelligence. I believe that you're somebody with a lot of creativity, a lot of good ideas. I feel like sometimes you have a difficult time like believing in yourself, you know? And I think that this is, in a way, like being our own worst enemy. It's kind of like you have a good idea for something, you have kind of a surge of energy, or you have like a revelation, you have a truth, but then you kind of like, you start poking holes in it, you know? We've got to put this card into a little bit of context. I feel like this is a card that's saying right now you don't really trust yourself or maybe anybody else either. So let's see what's going on here. Okay, we're going to use our Dove and Serpent spread. There we have a Knight of Wands. Okay. We have a Hierophant. We have an Aeon card. We have a Seven of Wands. We have a Two of Pentacles. Change. Something is changing big time in your life, okay? Over here, we've got the Star. We have a Ten of Swords. Five of Wands, and, oh, look at that, Nine of Cups, yeah. Okay, there is kind of this unexpected emotional surge, okay? And this isn't just really about, guidance. I feel like this is something deeply personal, okay? And I think this has to do with self-love. I think this has to do with healing. I think this has to do with, like, giving yourself permission to make different choices and to change your life, okay? I think there is maybe a long-awaited breakthrough in your happiness, in your love, maybe self-healing, maybe a reconciliation with somebody, okay? Maybe an older male energy that you're hoping for a reconciliation with. But let's see. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor infinite and unknown. I set it right here with Alien Simon Mork Ripley, right there on top. We're not going to look at that card until the very end. It will tie everything together. It will give us the confirmation that we need at the end of the reading. If at any moment during this message you feel like you might know what that card might be, put your prediction in the comments down beneath the video. Let's look around the room, okay? We see the Eon, we see a doorway to the past, really. We see the Hierophant, okay? A kind of inner knowing, a maturity, a wisdom, okay, that's gained through experience, okay? This is not just someone that thinks they know. This is somebody that knows because they've been through it. And then, of course, the Star, that sense of destiny, the feeling like this was meant to be. So between the major arcana here, I feel that we are kind of seeing this, a return of something that perhaps was long lost. Okay? Maybe this is like, you've been waiting for a particular breakthrough in love, happiness, and again, maybe some self-healing. Maybe it's a reconciliation. So we have then fire. We have our water at the end, and this is what we've been looking for. Superabundance, the real happiness. Right? That's the destiny. Okay? And then of course we have our air and our air cards, and we have a little bit of earth. Okay? So the Knight of Wands rushing in, the Knights are all about beginning something. Okay? And I feel that, I feel like this is you, well, between these two cards, this is you wanting to jump into something, wanting to get started with something, but having doubts, not trusting it, not trusting yourself, not trusting the other person. I feel like somebody is like revealing their true intentions or like their true feelings or something like that. And you want to believe it, you want to trust in it, but you don't. And there's some doubt, there's some questioning, there's some, I don't know. There's kind of like some biting your fingernails and not sure what to do, but you want to get into this. And I think that I think in a way it is revisiting something from the past. Now, it may not be a person, it may not be a relationship necessarily. I feel like it does have to do with maybe an older male energy. Maybe they're a fire sign person. Maybe it's a family member. Maybe it's a friend. Maybe it's a lover. Maybe it represents the job. Maybe it represents, the career that you had before or the hobby that you had before. It's something from the past that is returning and asking you to believe in it again and trust it and move forward with it. Okay? And I think that this is a wonderful opportunity, because the Knights of the Tarot are all about the beginning. And it's kind of like saying, to begin this, you have to leap. It's a risk. It's an impulsive kind of surge of energy. Yeah. And it is, it's a breakthrough. It's a sudden kind of, a door that suddenly appears, and I think it kind of feels like the door opened and something leaped from the past into your present, right? And I think that now you're truly you're wanting to receive this. You're wanting to accept it. And I'm getting the impression that somebody is revealing their true feelings for you. And it kind of like, it comes as a relief. It comes as an easing of this tension. It may be that you've had a falling out with somebody, like your best friend or something, right? Or a family member. And there's been kind of a separation, or there's been like silent treatment for a while. I feel like they're coming back in, and they're going to be the one to extend the olive branch to you, to apologize, to say, let's stop this beef, let's get back to the harmony. Because look at the sevens. That's disharmony. The 7 is beef. The 7 is friction, turmoil, banging your head against a wall, and it just feels kind of hopeless, pointless. What you're looking for is that reconciliation. You're looking to take away whatever it is, that's causing the imbalance, and finding instead 6s, harmony. All right? These are 7s. What you want is the 6. You want harmony in your mind and harmony in your soul and spirit and in your intentions. I feel like you really want there to be a relief from this tension, an easing of the strained relationship that you have now. And it may not be that this is like your ex partner, or your someone that you haven't talked to in years and years and years. It may be that this is your current relationship, and there's been a separation. There's been something blocking that harmony. Something that's been getting in the way of your effective communication. That's what a 7 really is. It's a blockage. Something is in the way of that harmonious communication. So this may be your best friend. They're still your best friend, but right now you're in the middle of this beef, in the middle of this conflict. Okay, and I think that they're coming to you with an apology, or with a, let's leave it in the past kind of vibe. And it's up to you to accept that, and to take that, and to feel that relief, and to accept that and establish that harmony. Okay? put a yes in the comments if you're still with me, okay? Because this is kind of like, the way I see it is that you're going to accept this with no hesitation. The horse and the rider have to be one unit. There can't be any trepidation. There can't be any maybes. I feel like this is going to happen, and even though there is this discord and you're not really sure, you're not really trusting it, I think when this happens, when this reveal takes place, when this person approaches you or calls you or sends you the text or whatever, when they reach out to you, you're going to leap into that harmony with them, okay? Because I think it's ultimately something that you really want. Because without doing that, you're not going to be happy. You're not going to be happy with your 7 and 7, with the fighting of the 5, right? With the kind of ruined relationship that you have with that person. I think you want reconciliation. Again, this might be a family member. It might be a best friend. These wounds are acknowledged and released. And so that creates space for the real connections. That creates space for happiness. Okay? And I think that you've been waiting for this person to sort of come back around, and, whether it's just been a few weeks where it's like, you're living with a person and there's just been this tension between the two of you, and you've been hoping that things will sort of harmonize again. And they are. Okay? And down beneath the surface, you have the Hierophant. This is, again, somebody that knows from experience, somebody that's learned from experience. And I think that, in a way, you're not chasing anybody, but you do kind of secretly hope that they are going to come back to you and approach you, and they're going to make the first move to say, hey, let's be friends again, or whatever, right? And so I think that you're letting them make the decision. And then when they approach you, you're going to have to make the decision to accept them, right? The Hierophant is that inner knowing. I think it is that guidance kind of coming from within you that is saying, you want this, And I think that for you, I think it's difficult for you to trust people. I think it's difficult for you to trust yourself. I think you want to. Okay? And because this is beneath the surface, right? This is your inner knowing, your inner wisdom. This is the voice of your higher self. This is the voice of your true self. And I think that the 7s that we see on the vertical axis here are showing that there's a lack of trust in yourself. And so it's going to be more difficult for you to accept this person when they do return to you. Okay? And I think that's going to be the obstacle here for you. Let's do a couple things. I want to do a Language of Flowers affirmation card. There it is. The belladonna, silence. Listen more. Listen more and be quiet. I think, listen to your true self. Listen to your gut. Listen to that voice inside of you and be quiet. Silence. This is a mind that is too chatty, right? Because this is, in a way, this is like too much static, too much noise, that we can't hear the voice of our true self. This is that silent voice within you. And this is the doubt, this is the confusion, this is the mental noise that's preventing you from hearing what your true self is saying to you. And I think what your true self is saying to you is that you need to embrace this energy, because this is what you've truly been wanting. Even though consciously you may be saying, nah, I don't need them, I don't want them in my life, right? You'll hear the voice of your true self when you can silence your critical mind, criticizing yourself, the negative thoughts, the low vibrational energy, criticizing other people, and kind of perpetuating the beef, perpetuating the conflict and the arguments and stuff, I also want to do a Divine Doorway Oracle card for our Eon card. And that's it, the passage. Spiritual signs of inclination. You're walking through passages of your transformation. It could be that this, the challenge or the conflict between you and this person has really been born out of this need for growth. Like the two of you just have like your own stuff to deal with, you know? And so you're walking through passages of your own transformation. And I think when this person approaches you again, you're going to realize that they have grown. And I think that your decision about what to do when they do approach you, that Two of Pentacles in the future position, what do you do? When they come back and say, I want to be your friend again, right? Do you say yes or no? That's going to be a sign of your own growth and transformation. Okay? And, you know, it may be something that was in your life that you really cared about, you really wanted it in your life. And when there was that falling out, maybe we could call it, I think perhaps you felt like it was permanent. Like maybe you don't believe, you never believed that it would return to you. Now I want to hear your story. Leave it in the comments, okay, if you want to share. I feel like it's kind of an unexpected return of this energy, of this person, of this opportunity, maybe it is. I feel like it's a person. I feel like it's an older male energy. And I think it's going to be really a day to celebrate. But you've got to stop resisting yourself. I think your true voice is going to really say, finally, thank you, yes, you know, that you want this in your life. But there's going to be that critical part of you, that stubborn kind of part of you that's going to try to just keep the fight going. You know, you might have to just get a few final words in before you say, okay, fine, bring it in for a hug, you know. Because this is a Six of Wands that's being interfered with by something quite small. It tells me that this whole thing started with a very almost frivolous kind of thing. It's not really a big deal, but it was, you know, it's a thorn that's been stuck in your side for a long time. And it's a grudge. It's animosity. It's beef. It is conflict. It is discord and, you know, disharmony. And I think by realizing that it's not that significant, that having this person in your life means more to you than whatever the issue was, maybe we don't even remember what it was, that is going to lead to a very easy choice for you, okay? Put yes in the comments, okay, that you're going to claim this reading. The Seven of Wands is kind of, you know, it's a card that it's like we're banging our head against a wall. Okay, and I think that really this was an impasse that you experienced with this person. There was a fundamental disharmony. I feel like the two of you had to kind of go your separate ways, do your own healing, do your own growth, your own spiritual growth, and now there's the opportunity to come back. Now things can happen easier. I feel like maybe whenever this started, it just wasn't the right time. Okay, or that you or they were going through some kind of a personal thing that prevented real connection and real harmony. And maybe time apart has allowed for some healing, and that now, you know, that genuine connection can happen. But it is up to you. Of course, Spirit's not telling you this is a guaranteed situation. You have to still choose it. Okay. And I feel like this is a very unexpected emotional engagement, you know. I feel like you're not expecting. I feel like you kind of shut the door on that person and felt like they were never coming back. I think they're coming back, and I think that you're going to be overjoyed. Okay? I think that you're going to have to acknowledge the old wounds, and I think release them and create space for the real connection. This Two of Pentacles is harmonious change. This is about being proactive, This is about making sure that you don't do anything to perpetuate this problem, right? That you behave in such a way that is going to be leading you to the outcome you want. It's like it's being proactive, okay? It's taking steps in a direction that is going to be good for you, for your ultimate good, taking steps toward your happiness, okay? And of course, we can play devil's advocate here and say that maybe the steps toward your happiness would be forget about that person. Leave him in the back, say no, leave him behind you, right? I don't feel like that's really the case. Yeah, I feel like you're kind of meant to be with this person, and I feel like you know that they're meant to be a part of your life, whether it's a friend, a family member, or a lover, or whatever, right? Maybe all of the above. But you have to take those steps. You have to take the necessary steps that lead to your ultimate good, and not let your frustration, your anger, your criticism, your self-doubt interfere with that, because you deserve this happiness. You deserve this love. So if this is something small and ultimately insignificant, don't let it ruin your happiness. You are loved, you are valued. Put love in the comments if you're going to claim love. Love, happiness, put happiness down there too. And subscribe to the channel. Okay? If you subscribe, I guarantee something good's going to happen for you. But you've got to take the steps toward it. Okay? I feel like somebody took a step toward you. You got to take a step toward them to meet in that middle, to meet in that harmony, in that 6. Okay. Now, your general energy, we're going to talk about these cards over here. Your general energy is the Star. This is insight. This is revelation. This is destiny. And I feel like you're able to clear out these blockages by by kind of stilling your mind and letting the voice of your higher self come through to give you the revelation, to give you the insight into what's been kind of holding you back, what's been preventing the reconciliation, to understand your part in it. This is the card of revelation. This is the card of destiny. This is the card of hope. Okay? And I think that the awareness here, the insight here, is really that this person belongs in your life, that it was all part of the plan, the divine plan, that the two of you would come together, fall apart, and then come back together in a more connected and stronger union. It could be your best friend, could be a family member, could be your lover, whatever, right? Soulmate. I think that you understand that it's all part of the plan. And that your fate or your destiny does involve this person. And I think that in a deeper sense, you always kind of knew that. But your 7 of Swords, your kind of conscious mind was trying to kind of convince you that no, it's not true. Maybe the 7 of Swords was you've always thought about reaching out to them. Because remember I said that it's like you try to take a step forward, but something is like kind of blocking you with a spear. Your own mind is saying, no, where are you going? I think that something inside of you always wanted to reach out to them. But there was that other part of your mind, the ego part, that just said, no, I'm not doing that. And I think that despite your ego's efforts, destiny is winning, right? And I think that when something is truly your destiny, when it really is your fate, your best efforts can't prevent it from happening, So if something is, and I feel like that's what this is, if something's really truly meant for you, it will find a way. It will happen, even despite your efforts to prevent it. Yeah, and I feel like that's the revelation. That's what's happening. And in your environment, the 10 of Swords, that's a relationship that was ruined, right? That's something that we maybe perceived it as being as pointless. It's hopeless. That there's no no possibility of reviving something. Okay. But I think that your willingness, in a way, your willingness to fight for this relationship is going to revive it. See, we're getting the water. The Ten of Swords is kind of the dismantling of false beliefs, the dismantling of illusions. I'm going to do another oracle card. It seems like today's a day for oracle cards. I'm going to do a botanical inspiration card. Dignity. A wise person has dignity without pride. A fool has pride without dignity. Okay? So don't let your pride get in your way, maybe with the Seven of Wands there. But also, don't compromise your dignity. Yeah. So I feel that this is something that is kind of there's this internal conflict with you. When this person comes back in, you have to really ask yourself if the origin of this conflict, right? Whatever the catalyst was, whatever happened, whatever event it was that caused this, if that is something that you just cannot forgive, or that you just cannot heal from, or the relationship cannot heal, I think you have to really look at this Ten of Swords and say, is that really, like that, whatever happened, whatever that thing was, is that really enough to ruin a relationship over? Or is this something that you can put this incident behind you? Leave the incident in the past, and can you move forward from this and build up the relationship again? Is this really truly dried up and desiccated and hopeless, and there's no way to revive it? I don't think so. I think there is still feeling there. I think that you can, in good conscience, rebuild this relationship with dignity, right? With dignity, but overcoming your pride. See? So I think that's really a nice card there. The Dahlia, yeah, the dignity. Have dignity, but no pride. Don't be too proud to accept somebody back in and forgive them and to apologize for what you may have contributed to the problem and to put the incident behind you. But to do so with dignity, okay, where it's not something that's unforgivable. I think that is really that's an important distinction for you. And that's the one that you have to check in with yourself over. Is this something that is unforgivable, or is this just kind of ultimately an insignificant thing that at the time, maybe it felt like it was a really big deal, but now that a lot of time has gone by, or whether it's a day, a week, a month, a year, some time has gone by, I think that you realize it wasn't a big deal, but your pride has prevented you from reconciling. So I feel like they're taking a step toward you, you're taking a step toward them, and you're overcoming the pride, and you're coming back together with dignity, and I think with healing, with forgiveness, and I think you're rebuilding. The Five of Wands in the position of the obstacle. Now, you don't want the fight. You're not looking for conflict, okay? And so that card makes perfect sense in that, right? And so you are looking to harmonize. Again, we have the 5 and the 7. We don't have the 6. Okay, so it really is this implication that you're not going to argue. You're not going to fight about this particular thing anymore. That the conflict is really, you're done with it. Right. I feel like the fight energy here is also important, because otherwise, why have the card here? I think it's really showing that this is something that you have to sort of work toward. The happiness, the superabundance, right? The joy and the bliss on the physical, financial, mental, emotional, spiritual, creative planes, the superabundance, the bliss has to be fought for, has to be, in a way, pursued. You have to put in the work. Okay? You've got to rebuild this relationship. And it can be just overflowing with joy, but it's going to take effort. It's going to take effort. Okay? I think there's also another special meaning here, and that is the idea that you don't have to earn happiness. You don't have to earn love. Okay? I think that you are loved, valued in ways that you may have doubted before. Okay? And maybe it almost it used to feel like through the fighting, that's how we show love. Because when you have when you argue with somebody, it means that you care about each other, right? It's only when we stop arguing that you start to worry, like, uh-oh, the relationship's really over because we're not fighting anymore, you know? And it implies that we don't care enough about the relationship to fight for it. So in some ways, I think that you saw like fighting and arguing and conflict as a positive sign that says at least there's still life there. Okay? At least there was still life there. And so maybe now that the fighting has kind of, I think it's grown cold. I think it's kind of a cold war, you know. It may have felt to you like the relationship was gone because there's no fight left in it. Okay, so I think that this is kind of a new perspective on what a healthy relationship is for you, and what love, you know, kind of really means, and what genuine connection really means. I think this is really good. Let's look at our mystery card, yeah? I would love to see a 2 of Cups. I'd love to see a 6 of anything. I'd love to see the Lover's card. Type love in the comments if you're still with me, okay? What do you think it's going to be? Now's the time for you to voice your prediction. Let's see. If you want, leave a comment. What is the zodiac sign of the other person? I feel like maybe they're an Aries, but I don't know. You let me know who it is. Just with a sign, if you want. Here's the card. It's an 8 of Cups. The 8 of Cups. Because, see, the 8 of Cups to me is somebody walking away from something. And now, we notice in this card that you're walking away from both a 3 of Cups and a 5 of Cups. Walking away from the joy, but also the storms, the turmoil, the disappointment. So the happiness and the sadness, the volatility. You're walking away from the emotional roller coaster. But you didn't knock the cups over. You didn't spill them, you didn't smash them, you didn't crush the cans and go recycle them. You left them standing. So I feel like this was, from the beginning, this was a temporary pause. A temporary kind of like, everybody go to their rooms and calm down. And then we come back. I feel like this was always supposed to be just a time to cool off. Not a permanent split. Not a dry, desiccated, ruined relationship. But I think because the fighting stopped, you said, well, the relationship must be dead. It must be empty. It's ruined. It's gone. No. I think it was always meant to be just a temporary cooling down. The two of you stepped away from the emotional roller coaster. And now, through your own healing and your own evolution, your own growth, you're able to come back together and not have the volatility. You're learning how to have a relationship, a healthy relationship, that isn't so much of a roller coaster. You know, the ups and downs. Because that's what you walked away from. And I think that was a conscious thing where you just said, I can't handle that volatility anymore. I don't want a relationship that is, you know, joyful and happy 1 minute, then the next minute is angry, fighting, sadness, crying, disappointment, heartbreak. I can't do that anymore. It's like a yo-yo, back and forth, you know, up, down, up, down. That's what you walked away from. But I think it was always kind of part of the divine plan, the bigger picture, that at some point in the future the two of you would reconvene. I feel like that reconvening is happening now. Yeah, I really do. And I think the door is open now. They've opened the door. You've got to open the door on your side. It's like a hotel room with adjoining rooms. You know, there's two doors. You've got to open your door as well. Type, I'm open, if you're going to claim this reading. I hope you claim it. Hit the like button for me, too. Okay. I think this is a very poignant card. We're going to do an extended reading as well. If you want to stick around, we'll do an I Ching hexagram. We'll do some oracle cards. There is a link in the corner here. There's a link down below in the video description. New readings for Gemini, Wednesdays and Sundays. Be sure to watch both readings. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. Leave a comment and let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you are the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you and I love you. And we are all in this together.